Hello everybody, it's Gail here from Ornamentology, and I thought I'd show you my latest journal. I found this Splendid book for boys in a local charity shop, and it's just amazing. I'll come back to the closure situation at the end, but look at it. It's kind of circa 1940, I think. So what I've done is I've put some stamps here for skill and amusement only. The paper is all yellowed around the edges, and it's that kind of really coarse paper that was of its time. I've put some extra pieces in, and these kind of stretch out a bit, quite big pieces, and just put some random stamping in. But look at these illustrations, they're just so beautiful. And it was in a time before space rockets had happened, so it's a book from Collins, London and Glasgow, and it's called The Splendid Book for Boys. Now, in The Splendid Book for Boys, as you can see from the age, it's kind of about the 1950s, I think. There was a chapter or a story that was using language that isn't altogether of our time. So rather than offend anybody, I kind of covered I'll show you again. I covered up the title and who had written it and called it journaling notes, and I've put more paper in there to cover the words because, you know, nobody needs to be offended by it. I've put little bits of stickerage throughout this book, and little stamps that just kind of appeal to me, really. It's a slightly different way of going about journaling for me. I've also glued some extra writing paper on so that you can actually still read the story, and just a bit of stamping there, read the stories, and should you want to, and some just little bits of serendipitous stamping and stickers and the like that I think complements the book. And, you know, little bits and bobs. And there's a little pocket here. This is The Eaglet Returns, and it's a story about aircraft, and I have a book about Lancaster bombers, so I put this page in about Lancaster bombers. It's just a little page with some images of Lancaster bombers and just some odd cards that just took my fancy, really. And there's not a set of anything here, it's just all a bit random. Just a few playing cards that you can use as bookmarks or whatever you like, really. And because of the time that this book was set, most boys always had sort of a pocket knife, a piece of string, probably a dead snail actually, and a safety pin in their pocket. So I thought I'd just supply you with a bit of string and a safety pin, because, you know, that's what all boys need, isn't it? And girls, to be fair. But this is a book about boys. And then more stamping down the sides, and the illustrations are beautiful, and the paper feels lovely. I've just put in some little note cards that you can write on the back of, that just I think are in keeping with it. Bit more stampage, bit more note paper, but again, so you can actually read the story. I've not read this from cover to cover, so I'm hoping there's no more unsociable language in it. If there is, I can only apologise. It's a chronicle of its time, but you know, that's how we have it, really. And then I'm just kind of flicking you through it, to be honest. It's kind of lovely, isn't it? This little tag with some bits and bobs on, just for your amusement. Common tools and how to use them. I don't think we would be letting our children loose with coping saws today, but you know, in the 1950s they did, because children were kind of like miniatures of their parents. But I mean, look at the illustrations, they're rather beautiful. Bit more writing paper for you to twiddle on. This is a spy story, and then this is the bit that wasn't quite so palatable, so I've covered over the words with journaling sheets, so that you can actually write your own words in there that are not quite so politically incorrect, I'm going to go with, because, you know, we don't want to be offending people, do we now? That's just a bit rude. So I've just kind of put some paper in and distressed it a bit, and generally fiddled about with it. And as I say, I'm hoping that there is nothing of a strange nature further along. A little paper clip here, and an envelope that I've made, which if I can work out how to open it would be even better. Oh, there we are. For you to just put your little knickknacks and noonahs in. There are a few little labels and tags in there to get you started, but and a old Boy Scout paper clip, which is the same as the side. There's another page there. I've managed to tack two together. Bit more foldy out paper, and so it goes on. It's kind of rather marvellous, I think. There's plenty of spaces. There's old stories that you can read and sort of see the language that they used in those times. There's bits of room for you to write in. I've not overly judged it because I think it's actually quite a lovely piece to itself. This cover is very smooth and it's rather beautiful. But once I'd actually stuffed it a bit, it was a bit flaily. So what I did was I got an old rucksack fastener and a piece of inner tube and thought that'll do it. So this is the closure, and I thought it was kind of in keeping with, if I'd have had one of those snake belt buckles, I would have made a snake belt with elastic, but I didn't have one. So here it is, and it's called The Book for Boys, and it's available now for those eternal youth men in your life. The size would be helpful, wouldn't it? It's 10 inches that way and 8 inches that way, so in new money that's 26 centimeters by 20, and it's available. Perhaps I'll tell you the price because I'm that kind of girl. It's 48 quid. A bargain, a steal, a commentary on what people were doing before the space race came, the way that they've actually put the images of space rockets. It's just of its time. It's just a beautiful historical piece, really, with just a bit of a opportunity to put your own jots on. Anyway, that's the Splendid Book of Boys. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm really enjoying the new backdrop. I quite like that. It feels nice to the touch and it doesn't have too much glare, so that works for me. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you want to have this book, you want me to post it out to you, just let me know and we'll go from there. Thank you ever so much for your time today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.